What if I told you that some of Hollywood's most powerful names didn't climb the ladder through talent alone? Behind the flashing cameras and red carpet smiles, there's a darker game that very few dare to talk about. One built on whispers, secret favors, and hidden deals. Some say it was ambition. Others call it survival. But in an industry where fame can vanish overnight, how far would you go to make it big? Here are 10 black actors who slept their way to the top. 10. Meagan Good. Meagan Good had already carved out her space in Hollywood long before the rumors began. From her breakout in Eve's Bayou to fan-favorite roles in Think Like a Man and Waist Deep, she was known for more than just her beauty. She had charisma that owned every scene. But when she married Devin Franklin, a film producer and pastor, the whispers started almost instantly. People began asking if this union was built on love, or if it was a smart career move to secure a stronger footing in the industry. Hollywood has never been kind to women who find success alongside powerful men. And Meagan's story was no exception. Every red carpet appearance with Devin seemed to spark gossip columns suggesting that she was leveraging the marriage to gain better roles or stronger influence. But those close to her knew the truth. Meagan had already worked for years, proving her talent long before she ever crossed paths with him. Their relationship did give her more visibility, but not in the way people imagined. Instead of using his influence to climb higher, Meagan became more vocal about faith, balance, and self-respect in an industry that often demands compromise. She started taking on roles that reflected her growth, choosing substance over hype. When their marriage eventually ended, the critics fell silent for a moment because the truth had become impossible to ignore. She didn't crumble after the divorce. In fact, she thrived. New projects, renewed energy, and a calm confidence replaced the tabloid noise. What looked like a career move from the outside was, in reality, a woman navigating a business that often confuses ambition with manipulation. Meagan Good's journey proved that she didn't need anyone's influence to rise. She wasn't sleeping her way to the top. She was surviving the climb with class, faith, and talent that refused to fade. 9. Tyrese Gibson. Before Tyrese Gibson became a familiar face in blockbuster franchises like Fast and Furious and Transformers, he was just a kid with big dreams and a Coca-Cola commercial that changed everything. That smooth voice and magnetic energy caught the attention of one of Hollywood's most respected directors, John Singleton. Singleton cast him in Baby Boy, a film that defined Tyrese's acting career. But success came with rumors, talk that their close bond was more than just professional. Singleton was known for discovering and mentoring black talent. He saw something raw and real in Tyrese, something that deserved to be seen. Yet the industry, always hungry for scandal, began twisting mentorship into gossip. People claimed favoritism, saying Singleton's affection for Tyrese was the reason for his rapid rise. The truth, though, was that Tyrese worked hard to prove himself on screen. His performance in Baby Boy wasn't just emotional, it was unforgettable, showing depth and vulnerability few expected from a music star. Their connection extended beyond the cameras. Singleton became a guiding force in Tyrese's life, offering wisdom that went beyond film sets. When the director passed away, Tyrese's emotional tributes made it clear that what they shared was mentorship and brotherhood, not manipulation or scandal. Even so, the whispers never really stopped. Hollywood often struggles to believe in genuine support, especially between powerful men and rising stars. But every film Tyrese did after Baby Boy, from Four Brothers to Transformers, proved he had earned his place through persistence and talent, not personal favors. Tyrese's rise from model and singer to one of Hollywood's most recognizable action stars wasn't luck or secret deals. It was a story of loyalty, opportunity, and relentless work. John Singleton opened the door, but Tyrese Gibson made sure it stayed open with performance after performance that reminded everyone he didn't need a rumor to define his success. 8. Naomi Campbell. Naomi Campbell has always been more than just a supermodel. She's a symbol of power, elegance, and control. But when she stepped into acting and appeared in Empire in 2015, the gossip mills went into overdrive. Suddenly, everyone wanted to know how one of the most famous faces in fashion landed a primetime role in one of television's biggest shows. The name that kept coming up was Lee Daniels. Daniels, known for his bold casting and sharp storytelling, was said to have a soft spot for Naomi. The two were often seen together at Hollywood events, sparking whispers that her role in Empire was more personal than professional. Insiders speculated that their friendship blurred into something deeper, hinting that her part on the show might have been born from more than just an audition. But those who worked closely with Naomi knew better. She was no newcomer trying to climb her way into fame. She had already conquered the world of fashion and built a reputation as one of the most iconic figures in entertainment. What she brought to Empire wasn't scandal, it was presence. Her confidence, her elegance, and that undeniable aura made her a perfect fit for the series' glamorous chaos. Lee Daniels himself had a history of casting bold personalities who challenged norms. Choosing Naomi wasn't favoritism, it was strategy. Her name alone brought eyes to the screen, and her performance proved she could hold her own among seasoned actors. Still, Hollywood loves a good rumor, especially when it involves beauty and power. The talk of a connection between Naomi and Daniels never truly died down, but Naomi didn't bother fighting it. She simply kept working, walking red carpets, and proving that her influence was built on decades of success, not whispered deals. Whether on the runway or the big screen, Naomi Campbell didn't need permission. She owned every spotlight she stepped into. 7. Terrence Howard. Terrence Howard's story is one of Hollywood's most fascinating comebacks. After years of controversy, lawsuits, publicity summits, and public battles, many believed his career was finished, until Lee Daniels handed him the role of a lifetime in Empire. As Luscious Lion, Terrence roared back into the spotlight, commanding attention like never before. But with that comeback came whispers. Industry insiders started saying that Daniels had a special affection for Terrence, one that went beyond professional respect. Their friendship was visible, their chemistry undeniable, and their loyalty to each other sparked endless talk. Some claimed that Daniels protected Terrence from being blacklisted, while others suggested their connection ran deeper. Every time Daniels defended him publicly, those rumors grew louder. The truth, however, might be simpler. Daniels believed in second chances. He'd seen Terrence's potential long before the world turned its back on him. Casting him in Empire wasn't a favor, it was a statement. Daniels knew that Terrence had the talent to bring Lucius Lyon to life in a way no one else could, and he was right. The performance was explosive, complex, emotional, and unforgettable. Still, Hollywood couldn't resist turning that loyalty into gossip. It's a place where kindness often gets twisted into conspiracy. But Terrence didn't seem to care. He credited Daniels for giving him a shot when few others would. He used that opportunity to rebuild his reputation and remind everyone of what made him one of the most compelling actors of his generation. Even after the Empire ended, their connection stayed strong, proving that their bond wasn't built on scandal, it was built on trust. Terrence Howard's return wasn't about secret favors or private promises. It was about a director who believed in him and an actor who refused to waste the second chance he'd been given. 6. Paula Patton. Paula Patton's rise in Hollywood looked like a dream from the outside. Beauty, grace, and a filmography that kept getting stronger. From her early performances in Hitch and Deja Vu to powerful roles in Precious and Mission. Impossible. Ghost protocol, she seemed unstoppable. But the deeper she climbed, the louder the whispers grew, that her marriage to singer Robin Thicke had opened more doors than her auditions ever did. Hollywood has always been suspicious of successful couples, and Paula and Robin were no exception. The two looked perfect together, stylish, talented, and glowing with fame. Yet people couldn't help but wonder if being married to the son of television legend Alan Thicke gave Paula an unfair advantage in the entertainment world. Critics speculated that Robin's connections and charm helped her land roles faster, that producers saw her as part of a power couple they wanted to be associated with. But when the marriage ended, the truth became clearer. Paula wasn't just Robin Thicke's wife. She was a skilled actress who had already proven herself beside industry giants like Denzel Washington and Tom Cruise. Her presence on screen wasn't borrowed, it was earned. She carried herself with confidence and vulnerability, a balance few could match. The divorce was messy and public, with heartbreak and betrayal splashed across tabloids. Yet instead of fading away, Paula used that pain to reinvent herself. She continued working, focusing on projects that showed her strength rather than her connections. The same industry that once doubted her began to respect her resilience. Paula's story shows that Hollywood's doors don't always stay open because of who you're married to. Sometimes they stay open because you've proven you deserve to walk through them. Her marriage may have brought her into brighter rooms, but her talent made sure she stayed there. 5. Taraji P. Henson. Taraji P. Henson is one of those rare actresses who can make any role unforgettable. From Baby Boy to The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, she's built a career on emotion, power, and raw authenticity. But when she began appearing in several of Tyler Perry's films, including The Family That Prays and Acrimony, people started talking. Whispers filled the air that Tyler had a special admiration for Taraji that went beyond casting decisions. Tyler Perry has long been known for giving strong, talented black women a platform, roles that Hollywood rarely offered them. But gossip columns twisted his loyalty into something more personal, suggesting that Taraji's repeated appearances in his films were proof of favoritism or hidden affection. Yet anyone who's seen Taraji perform knows she doesn't need anyone's help to steal a scene. She brings intensity, humor, and emotional truth to every project she touches. Behind the rumors was a professional relationship built on mutual respect. Tyler saw in Taraji what Hollywood often overlooked, a leading lady with range, charisma, and authenticity. She, in turn, appreciated that he offered stories where women like her weren't just background characters, but the heart of the film. Still, the talk persisted. Hollywood rarely believes in genuine creative chemistry, but Taraji didn't waste time defending herself. She let her work do the talking. Her explosive performance as Cookie Leon in Empire silenced every critic, proving that her success wasn't tied to anyone's favor but her own talent and persistence. What made Taraji stand out wasn't a director's preference. It was her ability to bring humanity to every role she played. Tyler Perry may have recognized her brilliance early, but it was Taraji who made sure the world never forgot it. 4. Halle Berry. Before Halle Berry became an Oscar-winning powerhouse, she was a young actress fighting for recognition in an industry that rarely made space for women who looked like her. Her big break came in Jungle Fever back in 1991, a Spike Lee film that marked the beginning of her Hollywood ascent. But along with that rise came rumors, talk that her connection to Spike Lee was more personal than professional. At the time, Halle was still new to the scene, trying to prove she had more to offer than beauty alone. Her performance as Vivian, a struggling addict, was raw, unfiltered, and unforgettable. It caught attention for all the right reasons, but the industry, quick to credit relationships over talent, began to suggest that Spike Lee had given her the role out of favoritism. Some even hinted at a private bond between them, claiming their on-set chemistry went beyond the camera. Yet no one could deny that Spike had a reputation for discovering and nurturing black talent. He saw in Halle what others didn't: depth, vulnerability, and star potential. And in truth, her work spoke louder than any rumor. After Jungle Fever, she continued climbing. Boomerang, Losing Isaiah, Monsters Ball, each performance more powerful than the last. When Halle won the Oscar for Best Actress in 2002, she didn't just make history, she shattered barriers. Her success proved that no connection, no rumor, and no whisper could take credit for what she had achieved through hard work and relentless dedication. Those early rumors about Spike Lee eventually faded, replaced by respect for her undeniable talent. Halle Berry didn't just play her way to the top, she fought her way there, refusing to let gossip overshadow the legacy she built through passion and performance. 3. Jada Pinkett Smith. Jada Pinkett Smith's journey through Hollywood has always drawn attention, not only for her acting, but also for her powerful marriage to one of the industry's biggest stars, Will Smith. Long before becoming part of Hollywood's most talked-about couple, Jada had already built her career through memorable roles in A Different World, Menace to Society, and Set It Off. But once she and Will tied the knot, the narrative began to shift. The whispers started quietly, claims that Will's influence opened doors for her, that certain opportunities came easier because of his connections. In Hollywood, where power couples are often judged more for their relationship than their talent, Jada became an easy target. Every role she landed, from The Matrix Reloaded to Gotham, came with the same question: was it her talent or her last name that sealed the deal? The truth is, Jada's determination had always been her driving force. She wasn't content being Mrs. Smith. She continued pushing for roles that reflected strength and independence, carving her own identity within a business that often reduced women to extensions of their famous partners. Behind the scenes, she was producing, writing, and creating space for other black voices to shine. Her candid discussions on Red Table Talk later proved how transparent and fearless she'd always been. Jada didn't hide from controversy. She faced it head-on, often addressing the very rumors that tried to define her. Her career, built on resilience and honesty, showed that no amount of speculation could erase years of hard work. While Will Smith's fame may have brought her into the brighter light, Jada Pinkett Smith's strength made sure she didn't get lost in his shadow. She was never the woman who needed help to rise. She was the woman who built her own path and walked it unapologetically. 2. Angela Bassett. Angela Bassett has always carried herself with the kind of grace that makes you believe she was born for Hollywood. But when the whispers began about how she landed her breakout role in Boys and the Hood, some people started to wonder if talent was the only thing that opened those doors. The talk around town hinted at a close connection between Angela and director John Singleton, one that supposedly went beyond the professional. During the early 90s, Singleton was Hollywood's golden boy, a young filmmaker who could make or break careers. And Angela, still carving her path, was fighting for roles that matched her power and presence. When she appeared in his projects, the rumors only grew louder. People began saying she was Singleton's muse, the one he couldn't resist working with. And some took it a step further, claiming their chemistry extended off-set. But here's what's fascinating: Angela never entertained those claims. Instead, she kept her focus sharp and her reputation spotless. She didn't rely on gossip to build her image. Her performances spoke louder than any headline ever could. Every time she stepped on screen, she owned the scene with raw intensity and emotional depth. Whether it was What's Love Got to Do with It or Waiting to Exhale, her craft silenced even the harshest critics. Over the years, she's managed to transform those whispers into something else entirely: respect. People who once doubted her talent now see her as one of the most respected actresses in Hollywood. Maybe the rumors were just noise created by an industry uncomfortable with a woman's power. Or maybe there was more truth to them than she'd ever admit. Either way, Angela Bassett didn't just climb the Hollywood ladder, she burned it down and built her own. 1. Gabrielle Union. Gabrielle Union's journey in Hollywood wasn't all glitz and glamour. Behind that confident smile and commanding screen presence, there were rumors that painted a different picture. One where charm and strategic relationships allegedly played a bigger role than most, fans realized. When Gabrielle started, she faced the same uphill climb many black actresses did: limited roles, typecasting, and an industry that often refused to see her worth. But she was ambitious, focused, and always knew how to be in the right rooms. That's where the talk of her getting too close to certain producers began. Some claimed those connections helped her land key roles in films like Bring It On and Deliver Us from Eva. What fueled the gossip even more was her ability to stay visible and relevant, even when other actresses from her generation seemed to fade out. Insiders said she played the game smart, never reckless, never messy, but always aware of who held the power to shape her career. And while people whispered about her relationships, Gabrielle never lost sight of her long-term goals. But here's the twist. Whether or not those rumors were true, she used that same industry knowledge to create opportunities for herself and others. Over time, she shifted from being the actress fighting for roles to the woman calling the shots behind the camera, from executive producing shows like Being Mary Jane to launching her own brand ventures. Gabrielle proved she wasn't just surviving Hollywood, she was mastering it. The so-called producer connection might have started as gossip, but what came after was undeniable. Gabrielle Union built a name that stood on more than beauty and charm. It stood on resilience, intelligence, and control. In a business built on power dynamics, she learned early on how to turn whispers into leverage and rumors into relevance. So now you've seen the side of Hollywood most fans never get to see: the rumors, the secrets, and the power plays behind the fame. These stars may shine bright on screen, but behind the curtain, ambition and survival often blur the lines between truth and scandal. But here's the real question: how many of these stories were built on fact, and how many were just Hollywood myths meant to keep audiences hooked? If you loved uncovering these behind-the-scenes secrets, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. There's a lot more Hollywood truth waiting to be revealed, and you won't want to miss what's coming next. Imagine reaching the age of 80, 90, or even 100 and still being remembered as a shining force in Hollywood. These legendary black actors have not only lived long lives, but also shaped film and television in ways that continue to inspire. From groundbreaking roles to unforgettable performances, their journeys are filled with resilience, talent, and history. In this list, we'll look at 10 of the oldest black actors in 2025, celebrating their remarkable contributions while honoring the fact that they are still with us after all these decades. 10. Robert Hooks, age 88. Robert Hooks, born in April of 1937, is now 88 years old in 2025, and his name carries weight in both acting and activism. Hooks wasn't just a performer. He was also a pioneer who helped open doors for other black actors at a time when Hollywood was still heavily segregated. His career took shape in the 1,960 seconds and 1,970 seconds, where he starred in films and television shows that gave black talent a stronger presence on screen. One of his standout achievements was being one of the founders of the Negro Ensemble Company, a theater group in New York that became the launchpad for countless African-American actors and playwrights. On screen, Hooks was best known for roles in Trouble Man, Passenger 57, and Star Trek III: The Search for Spock, where he showcased his versatility and strength. What makes his journey remarkable is not only his talent, but also his dedication to creating lasting opportunities for others in the industry. Now, in his late 80s, Hooks stands as one of the oldest living black actors, representing both artistry and progress. His name may not always be the first remembered by casual movie fans, but within the acting community, his influence remains undeniable. At 88 years old in 2025, Robert Hooks is a reminder of how groundbreaking work can extend beyond personal fame and instead reshape the entire industry for future generations. 9. Bill Cosby, age 88. Bill Cosby, born in July of 1937, is also 88 years old in 2025, making him one of the oldest surviving black actors in Hollywood. His name sparks strong reactions, but his place in television history is impossible to ignore. In the 1,960 seconds, Cosby broke barriers as the first black man to co-star in a dramatic television series with I Spy, earning 3 Emmy Awards for his performance. He later became a household figure with The Cosby Show, a sitcom that ran through the 1,980 seconds and reshaped the way black families were portrayed on television. The show wasn't just entertainment, it was cultural influence, offering positive representation during a time when stereotypes dominated the screen. However, Cosby's career and reputation took a dramatic fall in later decades due to legal issues and scandals, which cast a long shadow over his accomplishments. Despite the controversies, he remains a major figure in the history of black entertainment, both for the doors he opened and for the cautionary tale his career later became. Now, in his late 80s, Cosby lives as one of the oldest black actors alive. His legacy a complicated one that mixes trailblazing success with deep controversy. At 88 in 2025, his life story reflects both the highs of influence and the lows of downfall, a reminder that longevity often carries with it the full spectrum of human experience. 8. Garrett Morris, age 88. Garrett Morris, born in February of 1937, has reached the age of 88 in 2025, and his career stands as one of the most colorful among black actors of his generation. Best known as one of the original cast members of Saturday Night Live in the 1,970 seconds, Morris broke ground at a time when sketch comedy was still a very exclusive space. He brought humor, satire, and cultural awareness to millions of viewers each week, making his presence unforgettable. But Morris's contributions did not stop at comedy. Over the years, he transitioned into memorable roles across film and television, from The Jeffersons and Martin to his long-running part in Two Broke Girls. He had a knack for playing characters that combined wit, wisdom, and resilience, traits that reflected his own life. Behind the scenes, Morris overcame personal challenges, including surviving a shooting in the 1,990 seconds, which showed just how strong and determined he truly was. Even into his later years, he kept working, proving that age could never dim true talent. Now, at 88, Garrett Morris is one of the oldest living black actors, and his legacy lives in both laughter and longevity. His presence in entertainment over so many decades demonstrates how comedy and storytelling can leave a lasting cultural impact, all while keeping audiences entertained and inspired. 7. Billy Dee Williams, age 88. Billy Dee Williams, born in April of 1937, is also 88 years old in 2025, and his name is forever linked with charm, style, and timeless cool. For many, he will always be remembered as Lando Calrissian in the Star Wars saga. In the 1,970 seconds, he starred in films like Lady Sings the Blues and Mahogany, where his smooth presence turned him into a leading man admired by audiences worldwide. He wasn't just an actor, he became a cultural symbol, embodying sophistication and charisma at a time when Hollywood often sidelined black talent. His voice, his demeanor, and his screen presence made him stand out in every role he took on. Even into his later years, Williams continued to embrace his legacy. Now, at 88, Billy Dee Williams remains one of the oldest living black actors. 6. Morgan Freeman, age 88. Morgan Freeman, born in June of 1937, stands tall at 88 years old in 2025, celebrated as one of the most respected and admired black actors in Hollywood history. His journey to stardom was not an overnight success. Freeman worked for years in theater and small television roles before his breakout moment on The Electric Company in the 1,970 seconds. His rich, authoritative voice and calm, commanding presence soon set him apart. By the 1980 seconds and 1990 seconds, he had become a household name, starring in classics like Driving Miss Daisy, Lean on Me, and Glory. His career only grew stronger with roles in The Shawshank Redemption, $1 Million Baby, and Bruce Almighty, cementing him as both a dramatic powerhouse and a versatile performer. Known for playing wise mentors, leaders, and characters who carried immense gravitas, Freeman became the voice of reason in countless films. His narration style, instantly recognizable, made documentaries and commercials unforgettable. Beyond acting, Freeman's presence symbolizes perseverance, having risen from humble beginnings in Mississippi to the heights of international stardom. Now at 88, he is not only one of the oldest living black actors, but also one of the most iconic performers of all time, still admired for his longevity, dignity, and timeless artistry. 5. Hal Williams, age 86. Hal Williams, born in December of 1938, has reached 86 years old in 2025, making him one of the oldest living black actors whose work continues to be cherished. While he may not have achieved the global fame of Morgan Freeman, Williams built a career of quiet consistency, becoming a familiar face on television for decades. He is best remembered for his role as Officer Smith in the sitcom Sanford & Son, where his comedic timing made him a fan favorite. Later, he appeared in 227, another popular sitcom, where his portrayal of Lester Jenkins brought both humor and relatability to audiences. Williams also appeared in a variety of films, including Private Benjamin, showcasing his range as both a comedic and dramatic actor. His steady career path showed how reliability and skill could keep an actor working across multiple decades. Williams became a dependable figure on television, someone viewers recognized instantly and connected with. At 86, he holds his place among the oldest living black actors, representing the group of performers who may not have always been leading men, but were essential to the stories being told. His career stands as a reminder that television history is shaped not just by stars, but also by strong, consistent character actors who brought life and authenticity to every role they played. 4. Fred Williamson, age 87. Fred Williamson, born in March of 1938, is now 87 years old in 2025 and remains one of the most dynamic figures among the oldest living black actors. Before Hollywood, Williamson was already a star on the football field, playing as a professional in the AFL and NFL. His toughness and charisma quickly translated to the screen, where he became one of the biggest names of the 1970 seconds blaxploitation era. Nicknamed The Hammer, Williamson starred in films like Black Caesar, Hell Up in Harlem, and 3 the Hard Way, where he embodied coolness, confidence, and action hero energy. Unlike many actors of his time, Williamson often had creative control, writing, directing, and producing projects that showcased black strength and independence. This made him a trailblazer, refusing to accept stereotypical roles and instead shaping a career that put him in charge of his image. Over the years, he transitioned into television roles and appearances in modern films, proving that his talent stretched beyond one era. Williamson's career is remarkable not only for its longevity, but also for its boldness. He carved his own path in an industry that wasn't always welcoming. At 87, Fred Williamson remains one of the oldest black actors alive, and his legacy stands as a testament to power, independence, and resilience both on and off the screen. 3. Bill Cobbs, age 90. Bill Cobbs, born in June of 1934, is 90 years old in 2025 and represents the very definition of a hard-working character actor. With a career spanning over 5 decades, Cobbs has appeared in more than 200 films and television shows, making him one of the most prolific actors of his generation. While he was rarely the leading man, his roles were always memorable. From The Bodyguard to Night at the Museum, his presence added depth and warmth to every production he joined. Cobbs specialized in playing wise, elder figures whose words carried weight, whether as a shopkeeper, mentor, or grandfather. His grounded performances connected with audiences, often making him a favorite even in smaller roles. What sets Cobbs apart is the sheer breadth of his career. He has worked across comedy, drama, action, and even children's films, always leaving an impression. His dedication and versatility show how an actor can build an enduring career without chasing stardom, instead focusing on craft and consistency. At 90 years old, Cobbs holds a special place among the oldest living black actors, respected not only for his longevity, but also for the dignity and heart he brought to the screen. His career stands as proof that impact is measured not by fame alone, but by the countless stories an actor helps bring to life. 2. Marla Gibbs, age 94. Marla Gibbs is living proof that talent, resilience, and determination can carve a lasting place in Hollywood history. Born in 1931, she became a household name in the 1970s when she played Florence Johnston, the witty and sharp-tongued maid on The Jeffersons. What set her apart was her ability to bring warmth, humor, and strength to every role she touched, making her one of television's most memorable figures. Her comedic timing and no-nonsense delivery made Florence a fan favorite, but Gibbs never let herself be boxed into one character. She went on to star in 227, a sitcom she not only acted in but also helped produce, showcasing her behind-the-scenes influence as well as her on-screen charm. Beyond her acting, Gibbs has been a trailblazer for black representation in Hollywood. She showed that women could lead successful sitcoms while also making decisions behind the camera. Even in her later years, she's continued to work, appearing in films and TV shows well into her 80s and 90s, proving her love for the craft never faded. Her contributions paved the way for countless other black actresses, reminding the world that representation matters and that strong, relatable characters resonate with all audiences. At 94 in 2025, Marla Gibbs is more than an actress, she is a cultural icon. Her career reflects not just personal success, but also decades of progress in Hollywood. She continues to be celebrated as one of the oldest living black actors, still leaving her mark. 1. James Earl Jones, age 94. James Earl Jones, born on the 17th of January 1931, holds the top spot as the oldest living black actor in 2025 at 94 years old. His name alone evokes respect, and his voice has become one of the most recognizable in entertainment history. Generations grew up hearing his commanding tones as Darth Vader in Star Wars and as the noble Mufasa in The Lion King, roles that made his presence immortal even beyond the screen. But his contributions run much deeper than his voice. On Broadway, Jones established himself as a powerhouse, mastering Shakespearean roles and winning Tony Awards for performances that showcased his incredible range. In film and television, he brought gravity and heart to every role, from The Great White Hope to Coming to America. His life journey adds even more inspiration, overcoming a severe childhood stutter to become a master of speech and performance. Few actors have left an imprint as profound, not only as performers, but as cultural icons. At 94, James Earl Jones is not only the oldest living black actor, but also one of the greatest actors of any background or generation. His career is a testament to resilience, artistry, and the enduring power of storytelling that transcends time. And there you have it, the incredible journey of the oldest black actors still with us today, shining with wisdom, talent, and the kind of resilience that inspires generations. From breaking barriers in Hollywood to creating unforgettable characters, these icons remind us that age is not a limit, but a living testament to passion and perseverance. Their stories are not just about entertainment, they are about history, culture, and the power of representation that continues to shape the world. But here's the real question. Which of these legendary actors had the biggest influence on you? If you loved revisiting their lives and legacies, don't just keep it to yourself. Hit that like button, share this with friends, and subscribe for more powerful stories that uncover the hidden gems of Hollywood, because every click keeps these stories alive and ensures their impact will never be forgotten. What if I told you that behind Hollywood's glamorous image lies a shocking truth that most people choose to ignore? Beneath the smiles, the speeches, and the "we're all equal" talk, there's a long, ugly history of racism that still lingers in the industry's shadows. Some of the very stars who preached love and equality on camera were spreading hate and prejudice off it. From casual slurs to career-ruining discrimination, their actions left deep scars that time hasn't fully healed. These aren't just rumors or old stories, they're the dark realities of fame, power, and hypocrisy that Hollywood tried to hide. Here are 25 extremely racist Hollywood stars who exposed the industry's ugliest side. 25. John Wayne. John Wayne was one of Hollywood's biggest icons, the fearless cowboy who symbolized American strength. But behind that heroic image was a man whose views were shockingly racist. In an old interview, he openly said he believed in white supremacy and didn't feel guilty about taking land from Native Americans. Those words weren't slips of the tongue, they revealed a deep prejudice he never apologized for. Even though decades have passed, his comments still stain his reputation, showing how racism wasn't just hidden in Hollywood's corners. Sometimes, it stood proudly at the top. John Wayne's fame proves that even the most admired stars could carry darkness behind their legend. 24. Mel Gibson. Mel Gibson once ruled Hollywood, charming audiences in Braveheart and later directing the powerful The Passion of the Christ. But his real-life behavior painted a far uglier picture. During several public rants, Gibson made disgusting racial and anti-Semitic remarks that shocked fans everywhere. His career nearly vanished overnight. Yet Hollywood slowly welcomed him back as if nothing had happened. Many were left wondering how easily fame forgives hate when it comes from a profitable name. Gibson's case shows how racism often hides behind success and how quickly Hollywood moves on when money and power are involved. His comeback remains one of the industry's most controversial returns. 23. Michael Richards. Michael Richards, best known as Kramer from Seinfeld, went from comedy legend to public disgrace in just a few minutes. During a live stand-up show, he exploded in a racist rant against black audience members, screaming slurs that left everyone stunned. The video spread like wildfire, and the world saw a side of him no one expected. His desperate apology couldn't erase the damage. The laughter he once brought turned to silence and shame. Richards' breakdown showed how racism can simmer behind the smiles of even the funniest stars. Hollywood tried to move on, but that night became one of its most unforgettable scandals. 22. Clint Eastwood. Clint Eastwood built his career playing the ultimate tough guy, fearless, quiet, and rugged. But his off-screen attitude often crossed into uncomfortable territory. For years, he's been accused of defending racist imagery in his films and mocking diversity in Hollywood. During an award show, he even ridiculed people who called out racism, acting like the problem didn't exist. Despite that, he remains celebrated, showing how the industry sometimes separates talent from morals. Eastwood's old-school mindset reminds everyone that fame doesn't erase prejudice. His career stands as proof that being powerful in Hollywood can still protect you from facing real consequences for racist behavior. 21. Walt Disney. Walt Disney is remembered as the man who brought magic to childhood, but behind that colorful world were troubling ideas about race. Many of Disney's early cartoons portrayed racist stereotypes with mocking caricatures of black and Asian people. Even his studio reportedly tolerated discriminatory attitudes for years. Though Disney built an empire on imagination, his work reflected the ugly side of Hollywood's past, a time when racism was seen as normal entertainment. While his creations shaped generations, his history shows how deeply prejudice was woven into the industry's success. The happiest place on earth was built with shadows that never fully faded. 20. Frank Sinatra. Frank Sinatra's voice melted hearts, and his cool image defined an entire era. He even spoke out for civil rights at times, earning praise for standing with marginalized groups. But behind closed doors, stories told a different tale. Those who knew him said Sinatra often used racist slurs and jokes when the cameras weren't around. It was a shocking contradiction. The same man celebrated for tolerance privately fueled hate. His behavior reflected how many Hollywood stars wore masks of progressiveness while keeping prejudice alive behind the scenes. Sinatra's charm couldn't hide that darker side, proving that even golden voices can carry ugly truths. 19. Marlon Brando. Marlon Brando was known for breaking Hollywood rules, intense, brilliant, and unpredictable. He stood for civil rights publicly, even refusing awards to protest injustice. But later in life, he made shocking racist remarks about Jewish and black communities, undoing much of what he once supported. His words felt like betrayal from someone who claimed to understand oppression. It showed how deeply rooted bias could hide even in so-called allies. Brando's story reminds everyone that Hollywood's heroes can also be hypocrites. He may have changed cinema forever, but his comments revealed an ugliness that no amount of talent could ever excuse. 18. Sean Connery. Sean Connery, the original James Bond, was admired worldwide for his charm and power on screen. But in interviews, he often revealed a side that shocked fans openly, making racist and sexist remarks without a hint of regret. His comments about certain ethnic groups showed how deeply old prejudices ran, even among Hollywood's biggest legends. While his boldness made him a movie icon, his intolerance showed that fame can't disguise ignorance. People celebrated his roles, but ignored the ugly words that came with them. Connery's image as the ultimate gentleman crumbled once his true beliefs surfaced, reminding everyone that charm and prejudice can sadly live side by side. 17. Liam Neeson. Liam Neeson shocked the world when he confessed to once roaming the streets, hoping to harm a random black man after his friend was assaulted. His honesty wasn't brave, it was horrifying. Fans couldn't believe that the same man who played noble heroes on screen had once let hate control his thoughts. Neeson later apologized, saying he learned from his mistake, but the damage was already done. His words peeled back the illusion that racism only lives in villains. Sometimes it hides in heroes too. Hollywood loves redemption stories, but Neeson's confession became a permanent scar on his career and reputation. 16. Katharine Hepburn. Katharine Hepburn was hailed as a strong, independent woman who broke Hollywood's rules. But her films often included racial stereotypes that reinforced harmful images of people of color. Though she was seen as progressive for her time, she never challenged those portrayals or used her influence to change them. Her silence spoke volumes. It showed how racism in old Hollywood wasn't always loud. Sometimes it was quiet acceptance. Hepburn's career sparkled with awards, yet it carried the weight of roles that normalized prejudice. Her legacy reminds everyone that even trailblazers can stand on the wrong side of history when they choose comfort over conscience. 15. Judy Garland. Judy Garland's smile lit up The Wizard of Oz, but few talk about the roles that cast her in a darker light. Early in her career, she was made to perform in blackface, a cruel Hollywood trend that mocked black people for laughs. Though she was young and under the control of the studio system, those performances became part of her image. It's a painful reminder of how Hollywood built stars by exploiting racist entertainment. Garland's incredible talent couldn't erase that past. Her story isn't just about one actress, but about an entire system that taught audiences to laugh at cruelty disguised as art. 14. Mickey Rooney. Mickey Rooney was one of America's favorite entertainers, but his role in Breakfast at Tiffany's became one of Hollywood's biggest embarrassments. His portrayal of an Asian character was painfully offensive, filled with exaggerated accents, fake teeth, and ridiculous mannerisms meant for laughs. At the time, it was considered funny. Today, it's hard to watch. Rooney later claimed he didn't mean harm, but his performance reflected an industry that mocked entire cultures for profit. The fact that such a role existed in a major film shows how normalized racism once was in Hollywood. Rooney's performance stands as a lasting symbol of that ignorance. 13. John Hughes. John Hughes was the mastermind behind some of the most beloved teen movies of the 80s, but beneath the charm and humor, his films often carried troubling stereotypes. In 16 Candles, for example, the character Long Duc Dong became a painful caricature of Asians, turning racism into a running joke. Hughes may have captured teenage life perfectly, but his idea of comedy sometimes came at the expense of entire communities. What's worse, his films shaped how millions viewed minorities for years. His work proved that even lighthearted entertainment can spread harmful ideas, and Hollywood's laughter often came from mocking those who didn't have a voice to fight back. 12. Chevy Chase. Chevy Chase was one of Saturday Night Live's original stars and the face of classic comedies like Vacation. But off-screen, he was known for making racist remarks that shocked his co-stars. Several actors who worked with him said he constantly used slurs and jokes about race, often crossing every line imaginable. His arrogance and refusal to apologize turned admiration into disgust. Even when confronted, Chase brushed it off as humor, showing how deeply racism was hidden behind comedy in Hollywood. His reputation as a funny man couldn't save him from being remembered as one of the industry's most toxic stars. Behind the laughter, there was hate. 11. Quentin Tarantino. Quentin Tarantino built his fame on bold storytelling, sharp dialogue, and controversy. But his obsession with using racial slurs in nearly all his movies sparked outrage. He often defended it by calling it artistic realism, but critics argued it only glorified hate. Even actors close to him looked uncomfortable delivering his words. Tarantino's brilliance as a filmmaker can't hide his insensitivity toward racial pain. He turned slurs into cinematic style, and that's what made his films both praised and criticized. In trying to sound authentic, he ended up reminding people how Hollywood often hides prejudice behind creativity, using art as a shield for racism. 10. Mark Wahlberg. Before Mark Wahlberg became a Hollywood star, his past told a disturbing story. As a teenager, he was involved in violent hate crimes against Black and Asian men, leaving lasting scars on his victims. Though he later apologized and sought forgiveness, many believe his fame helped him escape real accountability. Wahlberg tried to reinvent himself as a family man and faith-driven actor, but those early actions remain a dark shadow. His story shows how Hollywood loves a comeback, but rarely looks deep into the past. While he succeeded in reshaping his image, his racist crimes will forever remind people that success doesn't erase cruelty. 9. Paula Deen. Paula Deen built an empire as a sweet Southern chef with a warm smile, but that image shattered when her racist language and plantation fantasies came to light. She admitted to using slurs and romanticizing a time when racism was normalized. Sponsors dropped her, shows were canceled, and her brand collapsed almost overnight. Yet, Deen's downfall revealed a bigger truth: how much racism still hides beneath charm and tradition. She tried to rebuild her career, but the public never forgot her words. Paula Deen's story showed that in Hollywood and beyond, kindness means nothing when it's built on prejudice and hypocrisy. 8. Justin Bieber. Justin Bieber became a global sensation before he was even an adult, but fame couldn't hide his ugly mistakes. Old videos surfaced showing him laughing while saying racist jokes and singing racist lyrics. The world was shocked to see that behind the pop star charm was a teenage arrogance fueled by ignorance. He apologized, saying he'd changed and learned from his past, but the damage was done. His words reminded everyone that racism isn't always taught by hate. Sometimes it grows in privilege. Bieber's career survived, but his early actions revealed how easily the entertainment world forgives when profit is on the line, even when the offense is deeply racist. 7. Elvis Presley. Elvis Presley was called the king of rock and roll, but the truth behind his success is far less royal. Much of his fame came from music styles and rhythms created by Black artists. Yet he often denied their influence and disrespected the very culture that shaped him. Many accused him of cultural theft, taking credit for sounds that came straight from Black communities. Elvis became a symbol of how Hollywood and the music industry profited from racism, stealing art while ignoring its origins. His voice made history, but it came at a cost. Behind the crown of rock stood the silence of those whose creativity he took without credit. 6. Ted Nugent. Ted Nugent built his reputation as a wild rocker, but over the years, his fame turned into a platform for open racism. He's repeatedly made hateful comments about Black people, immigrants, and entire communities, hiding behind free speech to justify them. Nugent's rants weren't slips, they were consistent, cruel, and unapologetic. Despite his words, he still finds audiences that cheer him on, proving how hate can survive in plain sight when it's wrapped in fame. Nugent's story isn't about one man's prejudice. It's about an industry that tolerates it. His career shows how loudly racism can speak when no one in power decides to stop listening. 5. Charlie Sheen. Charlie Sheen's Hollywood life was already full of chaos, drugs, scandals, and wild behavior. But his racist remarks pushed his reputation even lower. He was known for using slurs and cruel language toward people of color, showing that his off-screen personality was far worse than any character he ever played. Sheen's arrogance made him believe he was untouchable, and for years, Hollywood treated him that way. Even after multiple reports of racist outbursts, he kept getting roles and media attention. His fame proved how racism could be ignored when wrapped in celebrity gossip. Sheen became a walking reminder that talent doesn't erase cruelty or ignorance. 4. Sharon Stone. Sharon Stone's icy beauty made her a Hollywood star, but her public image took a serious hit when reports of her racist remarks surfaced. From mocking Asian co-workers to making offensive jokes about black colleagues, Stone's actions painted a picture of entitlement and prejudice. She often brushed off the backlash, acting as if she was misunderstood or unfairly attacked. But her consistent behavior showed otherwise. Her story revealed a harsh truth about Hollywood. It's filled with people who believe fame protects them from accountability. Sharon Stone may have mastered elegance on screen, but her real-life behavior exposed an ugliness that no spotlight could ever hide. 3. Alec Baldwin. Alec Baldwin is known for his talent and temper, but his history of racist and homophobic outbursts turned admiration into disgust. Over the years, he's been caught using slurs in public arguments and interviews, often blaming anger or misunderstanding afterward. Hollywood continued giving him roles, showing how easily power shields bad behavior. Baldwin's arrogance kept him from learning, and each incident exposed the same old prejudice. His story mirrors Hollywood's habit of protecting its own, no matter how hateful their words. Behind his charm and humor lies a pattern that never truly went away, a reminder that fame often speaks louder than morality in this industry. 2. Melania Lohan. Donald Trump may have stepped into politics, but his Hollywood years left behind a trail of racist behavior too. From his reality show, The Apprentice, to countless interviews, he was known for racially charged comments and public discrimination. His words fueled division long before his presidency, showing how fame can normalize hate when it's given a stage. Trump's rise from entertainment to politics blurred the line between celebrity and influence, making his racism not just a scandal, but a cultural shift. His story showed how Hollywood helped create a figure who used prejudice as power, and how audiences kept watching anyway. 1. Ronald Reagan. Before becoming the president, Ronald Reagan was a beloved Hollywood actor, a face of American idealism, but recordings later revealed him mocking African leaders in racist language, laughing as if it were harmless fun. Those tapes shattered the wholesome image he'd built and exposed the prejudice that once hid behind his charming smile. Reagan's story proved that racism in Hollywood didn't stop at the studio gates. It followed its stars into the highest offices. His success showed how easily power and popularity can silence accountability. Behind the patriotic image of one of Hollywood's own, there existed a heart that once laughed at the pain of others. These stories aren't just about the past. They're reminders that racism didn't disappear. It just learned to wear designer clothes and walk the red carpet. But now the question is yours to answer. Should these stars continue to be celebrated, or should Hollywood finally face the truth it's been hiding for decades? If you believe the world deserves to see what really goes on behind the spotlight, hit that like button, subscribe, and stick around, because the next story will expose even darker secrets Hollywood doesn't want you to know. Howard Rollins. Howard Rollins was a rising star whose performances in Ragtime and In the Heat of the Night made audiences believe he was destined for greatness. He had charisma, undeniable talent, and the kind of screen presence that made casting directors take notice. But as bright as his future seemed, Howard lived with a secret that he could never share. He was gay, and during the 1980s and 1990s, being open about that truth would have ended his career instantly. The Hollywood system was unforgiving, and for a black actor, the risks were even greater. At the same time, Howard struggled with personal demons. He battled addiction, had legal troubles, and constantly found himself in the headlines for the wrong reasons. These issues made his silence even heavier, because coming out publicly would have only added to the scrutiny. Rumors about his private life swirled, but Howard chose not to respond, focusing instead on his craft while living quietly with his truth. Sadly, his life was cut short in 1996 when he died at the age of 46. Only after his passing did stories confirm what many had quietly suspected. His hidden truth and early death left behind a story of both brilliance and heartbreak, showing how heavy the burden of secrecy could be for talented stars of his era. 9. Raymond Street. Jacques. Raymond Street Jacques made history as one of the first black actors to regularly appear on primetime television, breaking barriers with roles in series like Rawhide and films such as Cotton Comes to Harlem. His sophisticated presence and commanding performances helped him stand out in an industry that offered very few opportunities to black actors. Yet even with his success, Raymond carried a truth he could never reveal publicly: he was gay. At the time, Hollywood was harsh and judgmental, forcing actors to conform to strict images that appealed to audiences. Raymond built his career with a dignified and masculine image, one that would have been threatened if his sexuality became known. While whispers about his private life circulated in certain circles, he always dismissed them by staying focused on his professional achievements. To the outside world, he appeared reserved and private, a man entirely committed to his craft. But those who knew him closely understood the personal struggle he carried in silence. When Raymond died in 1990, his sexuality was never openly acknowledged in obituaries or tributes, a reflection of how deep the silence surrounding his truth went. Today, his story is remembered as one of both progress and pain. An actor who opened doors for others on screen, but felt he could not walk through life openly as himself. His hidden truth is part of the complex history of black actors in Hollywood. 8. Luther Vandross. Luther Vandross is remembered as one of the greatest soul singers of all time, but many forget he also stepped into acting with television appearances and small roles. His voice and artistry captured millions, yet his personal life was always a mystery. Throughout his career, Luther avoided discussing relationships, and when asked about marriage or family, he would skillfully change the subject. Behind the scenes, Luther was a gay man, but he chose not to come out publicly, fearing the backlash it could bring to his career. For black male entertainers, especially in music and film, the risk of being labeled outweighed the chance to live openly. Despite never confirming his sexuality, those closest to him knew his truth. Luther was deeply private, and he worried that the public knowing would overshadow his achievements and shift the focus from his voice to his personal life. His fans adored him, but the pressure of living a double life weighed heavily on him. When Luther passed away in 2005, tributes poured in celebrating his music, but his sexuality remained the subject of speculation. Only later did more voices confirm what he had hidden for decades. His choice to keep silent was not from shame, but from the brutal reality of how unforgiving the entertainment world could be. His story reflects how even the most beloved artists sometimes carried their truth quietly until the very end. 7. Moses Gunn. Moses Gunn was a powerhouse actor, known for his commanding stage presence and memorable roles in films like Shaft and Ragtime. He built a reputation as one of the finest character actors of his generation, earning respect for his deep, authoritative voice and ability to embody complex roles. To audiences, Moses seemed like a man completely at ease in his craft, yet privately, he carried a truth that he never revealed: he was gay. During his career, Hollywood had little tolerance for openly gay men, and even less so for black actors who were already fighting for recognition. Moses chose to keep his personal life away from the spotlight, speaking rarely about relationships or family. He presented himself as private and professional, carefully separating his public persona from his real identity. Those who worked closely with him admired his discipline, but they also sensed the walls he kept around his personal world. When Moses passed away in 1993, obituaries celebrated his artistry and contributions to theater and film, but his sexuality remained unspoken. The silence surrounding his truth shows how deeply the fear of exposure shaped the lives of even the most talented actors. Moses left behind a legacy of incredible performances, but also the quiet story of a man who felt he could never live fully in the open. His journey reminds us how many stars sacrificed personal freedom for professional survival. 6. Jimmy Daniels. Jimmy Daniels was a multi-talented performer who rose to prominence during the Harlem Renaissance, blending acting, singing, and cabaret in his career. He became known for his elegance and charm on stage, attracting audiences with his smooth style and polished performances. Yet, like so many other black entertainers of his time, Jimmy lived with a hidden truth. He was gay, but in the early 20th century, being open about that reality could mean the end of any professional opportunities. Instead, Jimmy crafted an image that fit the expectations of the era, presenting himself as a suave entertainer who dazzled audiences with his performances. He built friendships with influential figures in music, theater, and literature. Yet he always kept his romantic life in the shadows. Those within artistic circles quietly knew, but the wider public never heard him speak openly about who he truly was. Jimmy's life was marked by both brilliance and silence. He carved out success in a world that rarely allowed black artists to thrive, yet he did so at the cost of hiding an essential part of himself. When he died in 1984, his sexuality was left unmentioned in mainstream accounts of his career. His story reflects the harsh reality faced by earlier generations of performers who had to choose between authenticity and survival. Jimmy Daniels remains a symbol of talent restrained by the era's unforgiving attitudes. 5. Tommy Lane. Tommy Lane became a recognizable face in blaxploitation films of the 1970s and in action classics like Live and Let Die. He had a tough, street-smart persona that made him a favorite in roles requiring edge and charisma. His screen presence was undeniable, yet away from the camera, Tommy lived with a secret that never saw the light of day during his lifetime. He was gay, but he kept that part of his identity hidden to protect his career and his image. During that era, actors were often typecast, and for a black man in Hollywood, fitting the mold of strength and masculinity was crucial. Being openly gay would have clashed with the roles that kept his career alive. Tommy chose silence, presenting himself only through his work and leaving little room for questions about his personal life. Those close to him may have known, but he never discussed it in public spaces. When he died in 2021, tributes celebrated his roles as a memorable supporting actor in both film and television. However, the truth about his sexuality remained largely unknown. Hidden behind decades of careful privacy, Tommy's story adds another layer to the long list of black actors who felt the industry left them no choice but to remain silent. His legacy lives through his performances, while his personal truth stayed behind closed doors. 4. Jeffrey Holder. Jeffrey Holder was a man of many talents, an actor, dancer, choreographer, and even a painter. With his booming voice and striking presence, he became unforgettable in roles like Baron Samedi in the James Bond film Live and Let Die, and as a theatrical figure in productions such as The Wiz. Audiences admired his flamboyant style and artistic brilliance, but Jeffrey kept his personal life carefully guarded. Though celebrated for his larger-than-life persona, he was a gay man who never openly embraced that truth in public. In an industry that was both racially and socially restrictive, Jeffrey crafted an image that focused on his artistry, leaving his private world in silence. He spoke endlessly about his work, his inspirations, and his creative passions, but when it came to relationships, he remained quiet. His sexuality was not part of the public conversation, and he made sure it stayed that way. When Jeffrey passed in 2014, tributes honored his creative genius, but few ever mentioned the truth he carried privately. His life highlights the painful divide between public success and private reality. Jeffrey gave the world art, color, and performance that pushed boundaries, yet he never had the chance to live openly as himself. His hidden truth reflects the struggles of countless black performers who were celebrated for their talent but denied the freedom of authenticity. 3. Juano Hernandez. Juano Hernandez was a pioneering Afro-Puerto Rican actor who broke barriers in Hollywood during a time when black performers were often relegated to minor or stereotypical roles. His breakthrough came in 1949 with the film Intruder in the Dust, where he delivered a commanding performance that won him critical acclaim. Throughout his career, Juano appeared in both Hollywood and international films, earning respect for his dignified portrayals and undeniable screen presence. Yet, while his professional life brought him recognition, his personal life remained deliberately hidden. Juano was a gay man, but he never publicly acknowledged his sexuality. During the mid-20th century, being openly gay was career suicide, and for a black actor already fighting racial prejudice, the risks were even greater. Juano chose silence, presenting himself as entirely focused on his craft and avoiding personal questions in interviews. His private relationships were never discussed in public, and he carefully maintained an image of privacy that protected him but also kept his true self in the shadows. When Juano died in 1970, obituaries praised his groundbreaking career but made no mention of his sexuality. His story reflects the painful reality faced by many black performers of his era, who carried their truth quietly until the very end. Juano Hernandez remains a symbol of talent and perseverance, but also of the sacrifices demanded by an unforgiving industry. 2. Bayard Rustin. Bayard Rustin is remembered primarily as a civil rights leader and strategist behind the 1963 March on Washington, but he was also a performer and actor during his lifetime. His passion for theater and music gave him a presence beyond politics, yet his sexuality remained one of the most carefully hidden parts of his identity. Bayard was a gay man at a time when being both black and gay brought enormous challenges, not only in Hollywood, but in every public sphere he entered. As he pursued both activism and performance, Bayard understood the stakes of openness. Admitting the truth would not only harm his career, but also weaken the causes he supported, as opponents often attacked his personal life to discredit his work. To protect himself and the movements he served, he kept his sexuality private, never addressing it publicly. Even though friends and allies were aware, Bayard never made it a matter for public conversation. His artistry and activism defined how he was seen, while his personal reality remained in silence. When he died in 1987, the world celebrated his contributions, but left untouched the truth he carried privately. His story shows how many black performers and public figures were forced to choose between their truth and survival. Bayard Rustin left an extraordinary impact, but he also lived a life where authenticity had to be hidden until after death. 1. Alvin Ailey. Alvin Ailey is celebrated around the world as the legendary choreographer and founder of the Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater. But what many forget is that he also worked as an actor early in his career. His performances, both on stage and in film, reflected a deep emotional power that came from his lived experiences. Yet, despite his brilliance, Alvin lived with a truth that he never openly shared: he was a gay man. In mid-20th century America, being openly gay could bring devastating consequences, especially for a black artist already facing barriers of racism and limited opportunity. Throughout his career, Alvin avoided speaking about his relationships, instead focusing entirely on his art. He poured his emotions into dance and performance, creating works that captured themes of identity, struggle, and resilience. Many believe his hidden personal life fueled the intensity of his creativity, but it also brought him immense loneliness. He carried the weight of secrecy while giving the world unforgettable beauty through movement. When Alvin died in 1989, his sexuality was not widely discussed, and obituaries focused only on his artistic achievements. Only later did accounts reveal the truth he kept hidden. His story is one of brilliance shadowed by silence, a reminder of how even icons who changed culture could not escape the pressures of hiding who they truly were. Alvin Ailey's legacy lives on through his art, though his authentic self remained concealed until after his passing. These stories remind us that Hollywood's bright lights often cast long shadows. 11 incredible black actors gave the world unforgettable performances, yet each carried the heavy burden of silence about who they truly were. The question now is, how many more untold stories are still out there, waiting to be uncovered? If you found these hidden truths eye-opening, don't let the conversation end here. Hit that subscribe button, share this video, and join us as we reveal more untold Hollywood stories that the world tried to keep in the dark. Cheating scandals have the power to do more than break hearts; they can shatter entire careers. In Hollywood, where every move is magnified, some of the biggest black actors have seen their reputations destroyed by affairs, betrayals, and shocking secrets exposed to the world. These weren't just private mistakes. They became public disasters that left fans stunned, families broken, and once unshakable careers hanging by a thread. This is the untold truth of 14 cheating scandals that destroyed famous black actors and the shocking fallout that followed each one. 14. Eddie Murphy. Eddie Murphy was once the king of comedy, a superstar who made the world laugh with his wit and energy. But away from the spotlight, his personal life turned into the kind of drama even Hollywood couldn't script. His marriage to Nicole Mitchell seemed picture-perfect at first, but whispers of infidelity started surfacing, slowly chipping away at that image. Allegations of cheating didn't just hurt his family life, they also reshaped how fans viewed him. For a comedian who often played lovable characters, the scandal painted him in a very different light. The divorce that followed made everything worse, as the tabloids highlighted every detail. Instead of focusing on his talent, the conversation often turned to his unfaithful behavior. This shift was damaging, especially since Murphy had built a reputation as a family man while also being one of Hollywood's most bankable stars. Even though he continued to land projects and remained successful, the scandal became part of his identity. For someone who spent decades perfecting the art of making people smile, the cheating controversy was a wound that left a lasting scar on his public image. 13. Wesley Snipes. Wesley Snipes rose to fame as one of Hollywood's most electrifying action stars, a man who could dominate the big screen with style and strength. Audiences admired his powerful performances, but behind the cameras, his personal relationships were far less steady. Rumors of infidelity swirled around him for years, each one adding fuel to the fire that he wasn't as faithful as fans once thought. The cheating allegations not only damaged his romantic life, but also gave the media endless stories that overshadowed his career achievements. For an actor who brought larger-than-life heroes to the screen, these scandals chipped away at the respect people had for him. His divorces, coupled with reports of betrayal, painted him as reckless with those closest to him. Instead of being remembered only for his groundbreaking roles in films like Blade, he was also remembered for his messy, personal choices. These stories created a lasting mark on his reputation, reminding everyone that even the toughest action star can be brought down by scandal. Wesley Snipes' career endured, but the shadow of infidelity followed him everywhere. 12. Martin Lawrence. Martin Lawrence was one of the brightest comedy stars of the 90s, delivering blockbuster films and hit shows that made him a household name. But while his humor connected with millions, his private life told a different story. His marriage to Patricia Southall ended with painful cheating allegations that rocked his family and reputation. The scandal didn't just break his home, it also became tabloid fodder that followed him for years. For someone who built a career on making people laugh, the headlines painted him in a far less flattering light. As Lawrence's fame grew, the personal chaos grew louder. Later relationships also carried rumors of infidelity, leaving fans questioning whether the comedian they adored was living a double life. The cheating scandals left a permanent dent in his image, with many people remembering the drama as much as his talent. Though he remained successful, starring in Bad Boys and other hits, his personal reputation never fully recovered. The shadow of scandal lingered, proving that even the funniest man in Hollywood couldn't joke his way out of the damage caused by infidelity. 11. Terrence Howard. Terrence Howard built his career on unforgettable performances, bringing intensity and charisma to every role. From Hustle and Flow to Empire, he became one of the most respected actors in Hollywood. But outside the set, Howard's personal life spiraled into a storm of controversies, many linked to allegations of infidelity. His marriages often ended in bitter splits, with cheating stories fueling the breakdowns and feeding the tabloids with endless drama. For a man who thrived on playing complicated characters, his real-life narrative was just as messy. Howard's repeated relationship troubles damaged the leading man image he once enjoyed. Instead of being celebrated solely for his craft, he became the subject of gossip columns that focused more on betrayal than artistry. Fans and industry insiders alike saw the scandals chip away at his credibility, making it harder for people to separate his work from his personal choices. Even during the height of the Empire's success, the stories of infidelity never truly went away. Terrence Howard's cheating scandals proved that fame could amplify every mistake, leaving scars that no award or hit role could erase. 10. Cuba Gooding Jr. Cuba Gooding Jr. went from Oscar glory with Jerry Maguire to tabloid scandal in just a few years. At first, fans adored him as the charming, energetic actor who could light up any screen. But behind the scenes, his marriage to Sarah Kapfer was under constant strain, with reports of infidelity surfacing again and again. Allegations of cheating became part of the story of their long relationship, eventually leading to a public split that turned into gossip headlines. The cheating scandal didn't just wound his family, it also made people view him differently as a star. Instead of being remembered as Hollywood's golden boy, Gooding's image started slipping toward one of scandal and personal recklessness. The breakup and betrayal rumors stayed in the spotlight longer than his film projects, showing how quickly Hollywood can turn on its stars. For someone who once held the highest recognition in the industry, being remembered for infidelity was a painful fall. His story became a reminder of how fast public admiration can turn into lasting damage when cheating becomes the headline. 9. Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart was at the top of the world, selling out arenas, starring in hit movies, and building a brand as one of comedy's biggest names. But all that success took a sharp hit when a cheating scandal rocked his personal life. In 2017, a video surfaced that appeared to show Hart being unfaithful while on tour. The story exploded overnight, with tabloids and social media turning the betrayal into worldwide news. Suddenly, the comedian famous for his relatable stories was caught in one of the most humiliating scandals of the decade. Hart made a public apology to his wife Aniko, but the damage was already done. For months, the cheating story overshadowed his work, putting cracks in his carefully built image as a family man. What hurt most was how the scandal clashed with the personal values he often spoke about on stage. Though he managed to rebuild his career, the infidelity became a permanent stain in his story. Kevin Hart's scandal showed that even the most successful stars can be brought down when private mistakes go public. 8. Chris Rock. Chris Rock is one of the sharpest minds in comedy, famous for tackling tough subjects with fearless humor. But even he couldn't joke his way out of the fallout from infidelity. After years of marriage to Malak Compton, Rock admitted in interviews that he had cheated multiple times during their relationship. For fans, this confession was shocking because Rock often built his comedy around family, love, and the struggles of everyday relationships. The revelation shattered the wholesome side of his image and gave critics fresh material to use against him. The divorce that followed turned into a painful public affair, with the cheating stories leading every headline. What made it worse was how Rock's own admission added fuel to the fire. He wasn't just accused, he openly acknowledged it. That level of honesty may have been bold, but it also cemented the scandal in his career narrative. For someone so respected in comedy, the cheating confessions became a part of his legacy. Instead of being remembered only for his brilliance on stage, Rock's story of betrayal added a heavy layer to his public persona. 7. Malik Yoba. Malik Yoba built his career on memorable roles in shows like New York Undercover and films that gave him a loyal fan base. Known for his charisma and ability to play both strong and vulnerable characters, Yoba seemed to embody stability. But his personal life told a more chaotic story. Rumors of infidelity surrounded him, straining his relationships and making their way into the media. Cheating scandals chipped at the image he had carefully built and turned the spotlight away from his work. For Yoba, the damage was lasting. Fans who once saw him as a role model began questioning his private choices. The whispers of betrayal didn't just end marriages, they also created a reputation he struggled to shake off. In Hollywood, where perception is everything, these kinds of stories stick. His name became linked with scandal more than success, pushing his career into a quieter phase. Malik Yoba's situation showed how infidelity can destroy not just love, but also the respect an actor spends years building in front of the camera. 6. Michael Ealy. Michael Ealy became one of Hollywood's favorite leading men, admired for his piercing blue eyes and his ability to play romantic, heartfelt roles. On screen, he seemed like the perfect partner every fan dreamed of. But off-screen, his personal life wasn't free of controversy. Over the years, whispers of infidelity circulated, suggesting that the man who played devoted lovers in films wasn't always as loyal in real life. These rumors, though never fully silenced, chipped away at the carefully built image of a family man. In Hollywood, perception can be everything, and for someone like Ealy, cheating rumors cast a long shadow. Fans who admired his roles in Think Like a Man and Barbershop started seeing him through a different lens, questioning whether the devotion he displayed on screen matched reality. Though he continued to work steadily and deliver strong performances, the conversations about his alleged unfaithfulness followed him. For an actor who built his career on trust and likability, infidelity rumors became a stain that distracted from his talent and left his reputation marked by scandal. 5. Boris Kodjoe. Boris Kodjoe was admired as one of Hollywood's most picture-perfect stars. Handsome, charismatic, and deeply respected for his family-oriented image, he seemed untouchable. His marriage to actress Nicole Ari Parker was often celebrated as one of the strongest unions in the industry. But even this golden image wasn't safe from the sting of cheating rumors. Gossip blogs and tabloids often speculated about infidelity, dragging his name into scandal stories that clashed with everything fans thought they knew about him. The impact was heavy because Kodjoe's career thrived on the image of stability and loyalty. For someone constantly cast as the ideal man, whispers of cheating struck at the heart of his appeal. Even when he and his wife denied or moved past the rumors, the damage was done. His perfect reputation was no longer flawless. The mere association with scandal was enough to taint his public persona. While he remained successful in television and film, the cheating stories became a dark cloud hanging over his career. For Boris Kodjoe, the rumors proved that even the most admired image could be shaken when infidelity entered the conversation. 4. Columbus Short. Columbus Short rose to fame with his breakout role on Scandal, where his talent and charisma earned him a loyal following. But while his career looked promising, his personal life was consumed by controversy. Cheating scandals, along with other highly publicized troubles, became a central part of his story. Reports of infidelity surfaced during his marriages, leading to painful splits and fueling the narrative that Short couldn't keep his personal life stable. For an actor whose career was just reaching its peak, this kind of drama was devastating. The cheating stories didn't exist in isolation. They came alongside accusations of violence and substance abuse, which only magnified the damage. His exit from Scandal shocked fans, but many connected it to his chaotic personal life. Instead of being remembered solely for his talent, he became a symbol of wasted potential. The betrayals and infidelity scandals played a key role in destroying the trust audiences once had in him. For Columbus Short, infidelity wasn't just a private mistake. It was one of the scandals that tore apart a rising career before it could fully blossom. 3. Eric Benet. Eric Benet may be best known as a musician, but his acting career and Hollywood ties made him part of the entertainment world's spotlight. His marriage to Halle Berry turned him into a household name, but it was also the stage for one of the most infamous cheating scandals in black celebrity history. Reports of his repeated infidelity shocked fans, especially since Berry was seen as one of the most admired women in Hollywood. The scandal grew so large that Benet eventually admitted to battling what he called a sex addiction. But the confession did little to save his reputation. The cheating destroyed not only his marriage but also his public image. Instead of being remembered for his music or acting roles, he became the man who betrayed Halle Berry. That label stuck, overshadowing his talent and opportunities in Hollywood. For years, interviews and headlines focused less on his work and more on his unfaithful past. Eric Benet's scandal proved how one betrayal can redefine a career, turning a rising star into a cautionary tale about fame, relationships, and the heavy cost of infidelity. 2. Taye Diggs. Taye Diggs built his career on charm, starring in films like How Stella Got Her Groove Back and Brown Sugar. For years, he was admired as both a talented actor and a family man, especially during his marriage to Idina Menzel. But rumors of infidelity started surfacing, creating cracks in the perfect image fans once celebrated. When the marriage ended, cheating whispers were among the reasons most talked about in tabloids. The scandal damaged his reputation because so much of his career had been built on the idea of romantic leading roles. Fans found it harder to separate the man on screen from the stories off-screen. Even though Diggs continued working, the cheating rumors remained attached to his name. Instead of being seen only as the smooth star of stage and film, his image became tied to betrayal, leaving a shadow on his career that still lingers. 1. Larenz Tate. Larenz Tate is widely respected for his powerful roles in classics like Menace to Society and Love Jones. On screen, he played characters who were passionate, loyal, and deeply admired by audiences. But behind the scenes, cheating allegations surrounded him, tarnishing the family man image he had worked so hard to maintain. The gossip media thrived on these stories, highlighting how infidelity rumors strained his longtime marriage and personal life. For Tate, whose career depended on the trust and admiration of fans, the cheating scandals created a noticeable shift. Instead of being celebrated solely for his artistry, conversations often veered toward betrayal. Even though he kept landing roles and maintained a steady career, the narrative of infidelity never completely disappeared. His story shows how one rumor, amplified by Hollywood's spotlight, can change the way an actor is remembered. Tate's reputation, once spotless, was forever marked by whispers of scandal, affairs, and the heavy cost of infidelity. Cheating scandals don't just destroy marriages, they destroy careers, reputations, and the trust of fans who once looked up to these stars. From comedy legends to action heroes, these stories prove that no amount of fame can shield someone from the consequences of betrayal. Some managed to rebuild, while others faded under the weight of their own mistakes. But here's the real question. Do you think Hollywood ever truly forgives, or are these actors forever trapped by their scandals? If you found this breakdown shocking, make sure to hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and share it with your friends. And don't forget to ring the bell so you never miss the wildest stories from Hollywood's hidden past.